Going on, everybody? JT here. We've got C Will. Crypto for Change couldn't be with us, but we are at number 80, episode 80 of the next block. Really excited about that. We've got Daniel Kiani, the CEO of NoRamp Labs, joining us today. Super excited about that. I'll give a quick rundown of what NoRamps is and then let him correct me from there. But NoRamps is a cross-chain tool, essentially bringing fiat on chain. So, instead of a stable coin that's basically a fiat representation, it's actually on chain fiat transactions, buying all sorts of different digital currencies. Really excited to learn more about that project and how it relates to onboarding, the next generation of crypto users. So, Daniel, how you doing?
Amazing. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, welcome to the next block. Thank you.
Absolutely. And for everyone tuning in, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit us up in the live chat for anything you want to know, ask those questions. And yeah, Daniel, let's jump into it. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What is NoRamp Labs?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much covered it. We're essentially just payment infrastructure that's interoperable between traditional finance rails and blockchain. With that comes a multitude of applications that we can get into later. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's dive into some of them right now. So, what's the primary difference between I use random centralized exchanges, and obviously you can buy digital assets with fiat there, and obviously we know of USDC, which is like a fiat representation on chain. So, where does NoRamps come into this equation?
yeah, so my co-founder and I have been in the space for a while. We would consider ourselves degens, just like everyone else. We saw an issue, just there's a huge disconnect with using centralized exchanges, buying crypto, and especially around the NFT community. So after having created our own NFT collection back in 2021, we had so many friends that we had to actually receive like Zelle payments for NFTs.
Oh, wow.
So it was at that point that we realized there's a huge disconnect in user experience. And that's honestly our belief as to why the space hasn't reached this level of mass adoption, aside from lack of regulatory clarity. But yeah, we just, invested in so many companies that said they were going to be onboarding the next huge wave. And I think after having, I guess, like diving deeper into those protocols and those user experiences and backends and stuff, we realized that the right user experience is going to be largely tech enabled. So we set out to figure out how we can actually, at least step one, facilitate the purchase of an NFT using a credit card without needing to KYC our buyers and without it needing to feel like crypto. So we ended up building this very unique data transmission layer that enables us to communicate off-chain payment data on-chain to trigger the transfer of an NFT without needing a crypto transaction hash, which is how pretty much every other checkout is established today. So.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. So let me just be clear for myself. This is a product that is strictly for NFTs, or is it useful for other assets and digital assets?
Yeah, so we built like phase one of this product was just focused on ERC 721s and 1155s because those technically from a regulatory standpoint do not require buyer KYC. And they honestly have the most utility in the space. I mean, look at NFT tickets. There's lots of NFTs being used in real estate right now, which is another area we've been getting deeper into. But we wanted to create this user experience and be able to be people's first point of contact into the space. And for about 2 years there, NFTs were the biggest point of onboarding. So.
Yeah, definitely. With the Bored Apes going crazy, everyone was talking about NFTs.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's we reached a point where the definition of NFT became Bored Ape, which is incorrect. People ask me all the time, like, aren't NFTs dead? And my typical response is, what is an NFT? Right. And if they answer Bored Apes, I'm like, no. A Bored Ape is an NFT, but an NFT is not a Bored Ape. That's just one use case, which happened to be the most popularized use case so far. But
so can you break it down? What would you describe as a NFT? And I guess maybe a technical way and then in a non-technical way.
If you want to get non-technical, I mean, pretty much everything we see in the real world is an NFT. Like a piece of real estate is a perfect example. This house, like on the block, this building that I'm in right now, this is an NFT. Like you can, go some other part of town and try to build something similar. We could build one right next door that looks the exact same, but at the end of the day, this is the only building with these exact GPS coordinates and this exact framework, so that's a really good example of non-fungible item. Non-fungible token, I guess, from a technical standpoint, is a token that can't be, it's one of one. So when you look at any other coin, if I own 1 million Pepe coin, that's the exact same as my other buddy who owns 1 million Pepe coin. There's nothing unique. Even if I bought early and I own 1 million coins and he bought 6 months after me and he owns 1 million coins, it's still the same coin. So the non-fungibility of these tokens really, I think it really took off because it plays into people's mimetic desires, and it gives you that feeling of exclusivity, uniqueness, and yeah, I mean, artwork is a perfect way to represent the ownership of these non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, that was definitely what got me into it, was, of course, the artwork. And then I thought about like music, how music can plug in. And then in the Algorand ecosystem, they had this platform called Lofty AI. And that was like kind of the real estate example you were talking about. So definitely amazing. JT, you got a question?
Yeah, so I'm curious, what chains do these tools work on, and is it something where people go directly to your platform to trade, or is it more something that, like a tool that an app integrates to use on the back end?
Exactly. So to answer your first question, we're live pretty much on every chain. We even went live on Wax, which doesn't
Wax, that's a
have
new
too
one I
much
haven't
volume
heard
at
of.
the moment, but we work closely with some marketplaces on Wax. So we really enjoy the community so far. If you're part of the Wax
Facts.
community and you're listening to this, yeah, you guys are awesome. But yeah, pretty much every chain we work to just build out true interoperability. And then in terms of the integration and what it looks like, yeah, we built payment infra, and then the first product we built on top of it was the checkout for NFTs. So someone who's building an app, or you have an NFT marketplace, or you're wanting to just do like a 10K PFP collection, pretty easy to integrate. We broke it down into just a single like NPM package. It's like 5 lines of code. You could do it in an afternoon. Pepe, my
Right.
co-founder, has actually, when he integrates NoRamp, it takes him like 5 minutes, because we launched like random demo PFP drops and stuff, just to like, yeah, just to give clients and people good examples of how to use this. But yeah, I mean, it's takes an afternoon, live on every chain, and we're actually working on kind of somewhat of a platform for you to be able to, just to kind of support you through the entire NFT process, aside, not just the checkout. Because there's so many people that want to get into the space and want to utilize this technology, but it's there's kind of a barrier to entry, and I think other companies out there have made it pretty easy with a lot of their minting tools and things like that. But we just want to offer everything like full circle. Like, all these companies will make it easy to create the smart contract and whatever. But the checkout process, like, I would say we're the only user experience that we would feel confident offering. So wanting to kind of like meet everyone where they're at.
Right. And when you say every chain, of course, there's zillions of them. So I got to imagine that means some of the top chains, and maybe even some of the ones I haven't heard of, like Wax that you just mentioned. But how difficult is it to spin up an iteration of it that would work on a new chain that maybe just launched last week, or some smaller edge case chain that you haven't heard of yet, and an app developer wanted to integrate your tools to that chain? How easy would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Like, it's pretty, not to like discredit any of our devs work, like working super hard to go live on a lot of these chains, but going live on an EVM chain is super easy. It's all, yeah, anything EVM, it's going to be easy to go
That's
from chain
fair.
to chain. But when you get into like the Solanas and like Wax, for example, there's always like different ways of like, I know on Wax, I think they call gas, it's called like RAM. I forget what they're called, like RAM tokens, or it's literally just gas, but they call it something weird. And it's just that kind of stuff that when we're working through all of these integrations, where we encounter that and we're like, what is this? Oh, I guess this is what their gas is. But there's always nuance to each chain, but some chains are harder than others. Like, for example, for a while there, where we had a lot of demand for like Bitcoin ordinals, and we started to go live there. However, there's no yeah, there's not really any providers in this space. Like, we work with QuickNote a lot to provide certain aspects of just blockchain related things to us. And yeah, with Bitcoin ordinals, like, QuickNode didn't have ordinal support, and we had so much demand there. So we really tried to build a lot of this stuff out on our own, but it ended up taking too much time. And at the end of the day, I ended up telling my co-founder, I was like, I don't know how long ordinals are going to stick around. Like, I don't know if I think this is just something that brought so much excitement because it was something brand new for
Right.
Bitcoin maxi. So they were like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of like a Bitcoin versus ETH battle. And I think
Although there
this
were a
really
lot of them
gave the
that didn't like
Bitcoin
it.
maxis a lot of hope and something to like cheer for against all the ETH maxis. So we did kind of go down that rabbit hole for a bit, but at the end of the day, it wasn't super worth it. But yeah, like I said, varies from chain to chain, and we're always open to integrating new chains. Like we integrated Manta Network, who they're more of a nascent chain. They've got lots and lots of new people joining the community every day. Super close with their team. Very impressed with the execution. But yeah, we're always open to integrating new chains. So if you guys ever have any people suggestion wise you want to make interest to, I'm always happy
We
to
got
chat.
one right now. Algorand.
Okay, let's hear it.
Algorand. It's an AVM chain. Have you heard of
Yeah.
it?
Okay, yeah, no, I think yeah, we can definitely add that one to the list. I used to use Rand Gallery a decent amount back in the
Yep.
day.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
used to be big on Rand Gallery. Trying to think what there was one collection that I really loved. Flemish clones, like the bunnies.
Yep. Flemish
They're
clones, giants. Yeah,
yeah,
they still
Flemish.
out here. They have a game or Fractal
Oh, Flemish
Labs.
clones has a game now?
Excuse me, Fractal Labs. They're kind of
Oh, gotcha.
similar, related, but same
Okay,
artist. But yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Got
definitely.
it.
We would recommend because we most of our audience at this point is a Algorand based a show, but we definitely are cross chain and we tap in. So we're always curious on if our guests are going to implement Algorand into their business model, which we trying to help push the ecosystem and make connections for people.
For sure. No, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah. No, Algorand's amazing, man. I've been a long time believer in just the whole ethos behind Algorand compared to Ethereum, from like an environmental standpoint. So yeah, no,
And the
definitely.
gas fees too was a big reason why I went over to Algorand. I still like Ethereum and Bitcoin as well.
Oh,
But
you've got to respect the kings of
yeah.
the trade. But
Mhm.
we've got a couple questions from the audience that I think are pretty good. So let's pull some up. We've got Christian. How you doing, Christian? He's asking, what are some of the differences between No Ramp Labs and some traditional on ramp providers such as Transact, MoonPay, Alchemy Pay, etc.?
Yeah. So good question. We aren't an on or off ramp. The next product we're building is actually going to be catering to that off ramp audience that wants to, like, they have crypto and they're like, all right, I want to go, spend this somewhere, whatever. That's kind of the next phase of what we're building out right now.
So I'm assuming that's why it's
special.
called No Ramp.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not an on ramp, not an off ramp, but
that makes sense.
for the on ramping side, let's just say you want to buy an NFT. If you're going to buy an NFT and you're brand new to the space, first thing you're going to have to do is create a wallet. That process alone scares off many users, which we solve that problem. We have one-click wallet creation with email. Super easy. We're launching our 4337 wallets soon as well, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, so you create a wallet. You then have to go on, usually like as Coinbase or somewhere else, and KYC and go through the whole process just to buy some ETH. Once you have that ETH, it doesn't always get deposited instantly available for use. So providers like MoonPay and Transact have made it much easier to get instant access. However, if you live in New York, you're not going to be able to use it. These guys don't have bit licenses. So and that's an issue that I face several times. And so many of my friends here in the city that, when I was trying to get them into the space, they couldn't use any of these on ramps. So yeah, but basically you're gonna have to buy ETH, you're gonna have to go buy the NFT, and then that NFT gets sent to your wallet. That's a whole like process. It could take anywhere from like 30 minutes to 3 days or something. We viewed that as just like a huge barrier to entry for the space. So when you're buying an NFT with no ramp, all you do, and this is for brand new wallet users, all you do is go type your email. We instantly create a wallet for you. You confirm your email with the link. And then after that, you have a wallet. You put your credit card in, boom, you just click buy. There's no KYC, none of that. The NFT gets sent right to your wallet. And to touch back on the 4337 side, another big thing that a lot of these providers didn't think about, or I guess just didn't emphasize enough, was post purchase. What do you do after the user just bought this NFT with their credit card? How are they going to list that on an exchange? How are they going to transfer it to another wallet? You need crypto. You have to have crypto. However, with 4337, that has given us the ability to sponsor gas. So we actually can charge, we can charge you gas on your credit card, and you'll never have to touch crypto. You can list that NFT on an exchange. You can send it to a wallet. And a lot of these people that are using Magic wallets, you can't use Magic wallet on OpenSea. You need to transfer it to like a MetaMask or a different kind of wallet. So we just made the step. We cut out most of the steps, and doing that allowed us to offer it much cheaper. So if I'm going to use some other on-ramps NFT checkout solution, what happens behind the scenes is I go put my credit card in, they're going to go and buy crypto via an exchange API, which, you're getting fees, spreads, etc. And then they take that crypto, buy the NFT, and send you the NFT. With No Ramp, you're literally buying that NFT directly from the seller. The payment's going straight to the seller, and then the NFT comes straight to you. There's no like middleman, money changing hands, etc., which also allows us to operate pretty lean in terms of needing all of these licenses, like money transmitter licenses. We are not considered a money services business. So at the end of the day, we're moving data, not crypto, which allows us to offer the fastest and cheapest experience out there.
I have a couple like follow-ups, I guess, questions. 4337, can you break that down a little bit more? Because we're definitely hearing more about these chains that are, or protocols. I think Christian talked to us before in the comments about Moonbeam is also allowing people to transfer over gas. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
For sure, yeah. So a huge issue the space has seen, I mean, for years and years, is just everyone coming in needing wallets, because the wallet that's where you live in the space, essentially. That's your dojo. I think OpenSea, I like their profile section where they display all of your NFTs in a really cool gallery setting. Zerion's another great experience of a wallet that's like multifaceted from a crypto standpoint, tracking the movement of your coin prices, getting to view your NFTs, etc., creating watch lists. But with account abstraction, a huge part of wallets that everyone's been just, I guess, shitting on for the past several years is the whole seed phrase thing. So everyone coming into the space that I tried to get my mom into the space, and she was like, wait, and she was doing it on mobile, and she was like, wait, what's this thing? It won't let me screenshot it. Like whenever I screenshot it, it like pops up this window that says like, no, write it down somewhere, put it in a safe, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, this sounds a little sketchy to me. And I keep hearing on the news that crypto is a scam anyways. So like, I don't want to do this. So finally 4337 got standardized earlier this year. It was just EIP before that, but I think it was like in March or April. I think it was in March when it got actually
Ethereum,
standardized.
The EVM chain. Okay.
Yeah. So ERC 4337, but essentially we with 4337 were able to abstract away all of the seed phrases and things like that, and it's more of like a social wallet. So kind of similar to like a social login for Facebook, Instagram. That's what 4337 allows us to offer to brand new users coming into the space. So,
well, I think that's a great improvement, because that's exactly what people need. I lost my other question. I'll pass it to you, JT.
No, that's all right. That's totally all right. So we've got another question from the audience from Everyday Algonaut. We will get to that right after a quick word from our sponsors. So yeah, we'll be right back. All right, we are back. So that was the first time we've showed that last one. That one's actually really great to watch all the way through. But so we ended off the session with a question from Everyday Algonaut, and here it is. So is no ramp regulated in any way? So what are the regulations that work with no ramp? And then this is a little bit of an error because he said in the terms of service, I don't see any corporation. I do see it in the first paragraph. No Ramp Inc. But yeah, I'll let you answer the regulation part of that question if you don't mind.
For sure, yeah. So regulation-wise, we also built in a certain way very intentionally to be able to bypass a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to, like I said earlier, obtaining money transmitter licenses, etc. So we focus on just being a data transmission layer. So no ramp isn't touching funds at any point in the process. So yeah, companies that are moving data aren't really, there's not too many regulations, and we're constantly being audited and having third-party legal opinions just to make sure, because regulation changes every day. Oftentimes like a little quieter than we'd like. Sometimes you get a letter and it's like, oh, by the way, we made this change 3 months ago and you guys are whatever. But yeah, no, we're pretty on top of that side, because I think Coinbase was a really good example and I guess role model for us in terms of just working with regulators to bring about friendly and more so clear regulation. So we're trying to build for the long term and still be around 5 years from now. And I think if you want to do that, you can't step on any government's toes. So being pretty mindful of regulations.
And a quick blurb, can you give us a quick insight into the BIT license for those who don't know about it?
Yeah, BIT license, that's basically New York's special crypto license. After the huge, especially after like Mt. Gox and stuff back in the day, there were lots of hearings and stuff, and you have people like the Winklevoss twins, Fred Wilson at the front lines. Charlie Shrem was another one who was, involved in all of that. And it, kind of sad, like someone like him ended up getting arrested, which he had nothing to do with what people were transacting and doing things with crypto with. But yeah, BitLicense essentially is just New York's way of regulating crypto, which the guy who actually created the BitLicense has since resigned and is a full-time BitLicense consultant. So he charges people lots of money to teach them how to get a BitLicense, but
very
it's
smart,
pretty hard to obtain. So pretty hard.
I love that revolving door.
Yes. So just as another part of talking about licenses, regulation, businesses, can you speak on that relationship with Stripe that y'all use and how Stripe is integrated into y'all business? And then how does this data transact on a blockchain, or which blockchain?
For sure. Yeah. So we worked for a while to do a pretty cool partnership with Stripe. They had their doubts, obviously, just because it does appear like crypto's all in the eyes of Stripe. Like they have worked closely with the regulators, so they're always like extra cautious when introducing any new kind of protocols into their ecosystem. But we did finally go live with them in January, which was huge. That enabled us to start transacting and going live with a few like huge clients that we had LOIs from. But yeah, partnership with Stripe essentially is we serve as somewhat of a wrapper on top of Stripe for like a seller KYC standpoint. So sellers, when you're selling digital assets and receiving fiat for those, obviously you're going to need to KYC and provide your tax information, etc. You're getting millions of dollars in fiat. But the relationship allows us to be able to serve as like we're our own Stripe in a way, where we're able to bring merchants onto our platform and let them KYC and just kind of get docked so they can start receiving these payments from users. And then we chose Stripe out of all the other providers out there just because, for one, like fraud is a huge thing that plagues the space. Like so many people deal with so much fraud, and that leads to a lot of false declines, things like that. Stripe's fraud algorithms are the best in the world. They have really worked extremely hard. All the data points that they have compared to all the other payment processors, that alone made sense for us. But also the countries Stripe supports, all the currencies. And yeah, Stripe, out of all of the just countless payments they've processed, has a card acceptance rate of 96.17, which is the highest in the world. That, yeah, we want our users to be able to purchase from a merchant. So to do that, we chose to partner with the best payment processor in the world. There are people that partner with other ones. Like there's a few other ones I could name right now. And we just get, we get people coming to us all the time, especially like even from a user side, people trying to buy with these other like on ramps, and they're like, hey, my card keeps getting declined on blah 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 for this transaction. Like, you guys need to talk to these guys and get them to integrate you instead. And it's just, I think that's something that everyone needs to kind of wake up to. It's like when you shop on Amazon, you know, your card's not going to get declined for buying some random, like, I don't know, incense holder or something like that. But if you're going to go just buy an NFT, which is classified as a digital collectible, and your card's declined 50% of the time, we're not going to be able to onboard a lot of new users that way. So
Yeah, that's my experience when my favorite exchange is crypto.com, but half the time they deny my card, which is like so annoying. So I have to go, pay Coinbase. But I do want to, you said something that I also see on your website, your partners, right? I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. So what are y'all doing with Vayner Sports? And then can you speak on some of those other partnerships that y'all got?
for sure. Yeah, no, big fan of Gary as well. And the whole Vayner Sports, V Friends, and Vayner Fund team. Yeah, we started to build a relationship with them earlier this year. We were we were in talks with some people on their team just for different reasons, fundraising kind of stuff, partnerships with certain NFT drops, etc. With Vayner Sports, we kicked off our relationship not too long ago with the launch of their new VS Pass. So I'm not sure if you guys saw their Vayner Sports PFPs they just dropped, but we're the ones who did that whole mint, and it was exclusively a credit card mint. There was no it was only
Smart.
minting through credit
Very
cards. So
smart.
so we did that. We processed all those transactions. We're working on some really cool stuff with them. And I mean, their whole team is just so passionate about the space, and I personally have enjoyed working alongside those guys. And then other partnerships. I mean, we've really been mindful about who we do bring into our ecosystem, because I think that's another thing Web3 got kind of carried away with, was just making announcements, and it's all signaling at the end of the day, which,
Yes.
that's like venture-backed companies. I feel like this is my first venture-backed company. All my other ones I've fully bootstrapped, but I do kind of see how the signaling game works, where it's like, oh, we partnered with so-and-so and we partnered with so-and-so. And I think like a good example of that back in the day was Tron. Tron was announcing partnerships with literally every company, every Fortune 500 company in the world, just to like pump their TRX price. And it works. People see that and they're like, oh my gosh, Tron just partnered with Samsung. Like, what's that
And
look
they
like?
still top 10 too.
Yeah, exactly. It works.
Yep.
But I think Web3 got kind of carried away with that. So with our partners, like we've been very mindful about who we do partner with, and it's got to be people that are on the same mission as us. Otherwise, it's gonna like kind of slow us down and end up being dead weight at the end of the day. So some of our partners, I mean, we just recently did a big partnership with Plaid, which we haven't really announced yet because we're still, kind of just working through some things there on the user experience side. But we did partner with them, and we support instant ACH with virtually zero risk to our users, which increases our transaction size to pretty much unlimited transaction size. But people like that we partner with just to be able to offer like a better user experience. There's certain L1s we'll partner with just to be able to get rolled out to a lot of their apps and communities.
We need y'all in Para Wallet. That's a little alpha. Para Wallet. You got to definitely connect with Algorand.
Para Wallet. Okay.
Yeah. Very useful. I see that this no ramp could be inside the Algorand ecosystem because people are super bullish on NFTs over there. But as we said earlier, the issue is the going from that centralized exchange to get your algo. And I tried out like Transact. I didn't really like the experience of those type of applications personally.
It is
very expensive too.
Yeah, it's a tough business. I mean, Transact's like I'm a big fan of their execution. Like Sammy's a great CEO. Like they've done a really good job at just, I guess, acquiring users and building out a really good product. But those are, at the end of the day, those are just really tough businesses to run. Like there's a lot going on behind the scenes, like especially on the regulatory side. It takes so long it's the cold start problem. And I think dealing with regulation to that extent, you're always going to face that. But they've done a really good job. And I do feel for a lot of the on-ramp kind of companies that are, just dealing with the MSB experience of like, oh, we're touching crypto at all these points and moving all this money around. Like it does get pretty hairy, but yeah, no, the user experience at the end of the day has just got to be revolutionized. And a lot of those guys, I know they want to, but it's got to be tech enabled. You got to find a new way of doing these things, and it's not the obvious way. So
Yeah, I'm curious. You mentioned the mint that was a purely credit card mint. How does NoRamp handle the gas fees in the background, regardless of the chain, whether it's Ethereum fees or maybe Solana fees, Wax fees, whatever? How does it handle those gas fees in the background? Is it buying Ethereum and then paying for those? How does that work?
yeah, so currently the way we're set up is whoever is minting the NFTs, like or whichever contract is minting the NFTs,
Like V
it's
Friends, for example, or something like that.
yeah, like Vayner Sports, for
Okay,
example,
yeah.
they're minting the NFTs at the end of the day. They have gas, like a liquidity pool of gas, and essentially each
Gotcha.
time an NFT is purchased, it
sense.
just comes out. And then when their payment is getting sent over, that gas is automatically sent to them in with the payment for the NFT. And then the user is covering gas at the point of sale with their credit card.
So okay, just for my understanding, so it's like a no ramp mixed with like the mentor provider, and then that third party, is it a marketplace then that y'all have to work with?
For Vayner Sports, that's just directly with their own smart contract. If people were going to go sell on a secondary marketplace, then we would be working with them. If they were wanting to use like MoonPay, they can use that right now in OpenSea. But if they're wanting to like actually, I guess, sell and have that same experience, they would need to integrate us at the point of sale in their smart contract. So the end user would have to be buying with NoRamp for that seller to kind of be tapped in. So
Makes sense. Okay.
You mentioned a little while. Oh, go for it, Sewell.
No, you got it.
All right. I was going to say, you mentioned a little while ago the endeavor to create more of an off-ramp solution as well, which, one, would you have to change your name if you did that? But I do want you to expand on that. What would that look like? And what do you envision with that?
yeah, I mean, it's cool because, like I said, Peppy and I are just always thinking about how can we deliver the end result that everyone wants without having to go the same path everyone has gone. So from an off-ramp standpoint, you have to ask yourself, why do people want to off-ramp? It's usually to go buy stuff or to have liquidity, which liquidity for what, So asking yourselves those critical questions, you're going to be able to figure out like, all right, how can we give people what they want, but in a different way? So our off-ramp product, which isn't going to be an off-ramp, we'll have more details around that soon. We've been pretty quiet on that, but it'll basically enable people to use their crypto anywhere in the world without ever having to sell it and without any fees and having the KYC and wait 2 days for it to go to your bank or sell it and have to pay like a huge instant payout fee from Coinbase or whoever. Because at the end of the day, like people want to spend their crypto. I mean, I think being able to spend your crypto anywhere in the world is going to be a huge wow moment that we can deliver to society, and that will legitimize it for so many users because people know you can buy crypto. But if you're sitting on a billion Pepe coin or whatever, and you want to go like, you're like, oh shoot, like I got to take mom out to dinner tonight. It's her birthday, whatever. I'm sitting on all this crypto, like blah, blah, blah. Like it's nice to be able to spend that. And for me personally, I like being able to spend my crypto. Like I don't take a salary at NoRamp. And just being able to, or I guess the current process for me is like, I have crypto holdings. If I want to do stuff with USD, I need to actually sell all of those, transfer them to my bank, or if I use like a Coinbase debit card or whatever. But at that point, I'm not getting my points from my Atlas credit card. So, it's the whole process is just too long. So we're solving that for many people, and we can report back with more fine details soon.
Yeah, because my dream is to literally not use dollars as much and then just use USDC, because to that point, I could take my crypto, go to a DeFi protocol, get me USDC, and then go spend it would be the ideal situation. So we can all stay on the blockchain rather than that, whole 3-day process and things of that nature. But yeah, that would be the vision. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, that'll be a huge unlock. I mean, there's a company right now that's that enables you to go from USDC straight to like USD to your bank. It's called Beam. It was created by Ansible Labs. Um, that's a very impressive product. My chief of staff came across that a little bit ago, and we've kept an eye on them, and yeah, we're excited for them to launch their enterprise product because we're definitely going to be users of that. But
yeah, that would be a great development. So is there any other alpha or anything you could share with our audience here today that you would like them to know, or a way for businesses to integrate you? Anything you'd like to say to them?
I mean, alpha wise, like from a macro level, I think just with what's going on in the world, this is just so bullish for crypto. I mean, Bitcoin right now is sitting at almost 35K, and
Yep.
it was kind of cool to
Huge.
me to see the whole BlackRock ETF thing where it got listed for a little bit, and then the next day it was like, oh, it's been removed. The price didn't really affect the price too much. Like people were just like, we at the end of the day, we kind of don't care. Like I like seeing that. Like I was expecting, oh shoot, like it just got delisted. Let's see, this thing might tank back to 28K or whatever, or 26K. Like, but I think right now the alpha is the way the macro is playing out. I think this is just extremely bullish for crypto. And you know, for us people building in the bear market, you know, there are times when it gets tough. You know, you're doing everything right. You've built the products that people want to use. You get like I personally ask my friends all the time. I'm like, roast my product, roast no ramp, like don't hold back. And they're like, it's good. It's a good product. Like just it's just the markets, you know, because I'm like roast it. Like there's gotta be some disconnect where like we can improve and like it's gonna get us, you know, order of magnitude further ahead. And it's just the markets are tough, you know. So to anyone building right now in these markets, I mean, definitely keep your heads down, keep at it. I mean, a lot of these things right now too are just about like surviving. It's not about like, oh, I got to build this certain product a certain way, whatever. You just got to survive these markets sometimes. And we're in the longest bear market in crypto history, and I think it does get tough. You know, you're building all these products for a market that doesn't yet exist or once existed but has since died down. So I mean, that's the alpha, is like whatever you're passionate about and whatever vision you have, just keep at it, because we're gonna see markets pick back up one day, and when that happens, you better be ready, you know. And they're gonna say you got lucky, but luck is when preparation meets
Yes.
opportunity. So do the preparation part now, and the opportunity part's gonna come pretty soon. No one knows exactly when, but I can feel the momentum shifting. Like me and the whole NoRamp team have noticed like more people creating apps and exploring around, and you know, a lot of like regular Web2 companies. I mean, we have Web2 companies integrating us every week that don't even want the crypto side. They just want to integrate us because we are easier to integrate than Stripe. And we're kind of like using that, like, okay, cool. Like we're catering to these Web2 companies now. Like we're existing as a true payment processor. How can we help get those guys into Web3 as well and make it easy and understandable for them? So that's my alpha. You know, markets are tough. It's tough on everyone. I mean, we've been building, and you know, it's sometimes hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel, but there is a light. And then yeah, I mean, from an integration standpoint for NoRamp, like we've made it super easy. My co-founder and CTO Pepe Martinez is just, he's a wizard when it comes to building out the developer experience, and that's why we've been, you know, working on stuff for several years, and that's why I'm sure anything I want to build in the future, like he's going to be my go-to guy that I build it with. He gets the developer experience on a level that I haven't yet seen. So docs are always super comprehensive, integration super easy. So yeah, it's pretty easy to integrate. If anyone's, you know, if you want to play around, you can create an app at noramp.io. We've spelled it out pretty clearly. So and then yeah, like I said earlier, I mean, thanks for the Algorand alpha. We'll start to work on that integration.
Most
Absolutely. I'm
definitely.
sure plenty of people would like to hear that. Where can people go to, you know, learn more about you or follow you on social medias or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check me out on social media, kind of active on Instagram sometimes. I'm private on there. I keep the highlight reel pretty private. I'm just not blasting all this stuff all the time, but my Instagram and Twitter are the exact same. I'm usually more active on Twitter. It's just at Daniel Kiani. And then if you want to follow NoRamp, it's just at, you can just search NoRamp and you'll find it on those platforms.
Perfect.
Excellent.
We've got one more announcement real quick. So on this Sunday, I'm going to be doing a conversation with Ed Lashinsky, the CEO of Algorithmic Finance. It's going to be called Markets Unboxed. We're going to talk about all sorts of things from the macro level to the micro level. Going to be learning a lot about what's going on in the markets and, what makes things move. It's going to be a really great conversation. I'm really excited to dive deeper into, the macro environment and see what's going on. But appreciate everyone that watched to the end. Like and subscribe. Check us out next week as well for our next week's show. And Daniel, really appreciate your time today.
Yes,
Thanks
you,
for
Daniel.
having me on, guys. Yeah, this was fun.
Absolutely. Daniel, if you could sit tight for like 5 minutes, and everyone else, we will see you next week. Take care.
Peace.